Intro music.
Over narration.
Oh, doctor!
My name is Joey,
My name is James.
and this is the Brothers Padre.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the week of May 21st, Padre Baseball Recap.
James, Padres, I don't know if you're aware of this, are still the best team in baseball.
Yay!
Still on top of the NL West.
Obviously.
And still swag champs. So, it's a great week. But it can fun. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing all right, Joe. I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Baseball.
How about yourself?
Good. I saw some baseball this week in person and not in person. It was good. It was a good time. I learned a lot about as we do in this show, we learn about sticky substances. I learned a lot more about that this week. I don't think my life is any better for it, but I learned about it. So for the pod, things you do for the pod, James.
What you do for the pod? I was gonna say that you're learning sticky substances just because you're giving your daughter solid foods for the first time.
Yeah.
There's just sticky substances everywhere now.
You do wonder, like does peanut butter help? Is peanut butter increase spin rate? What if an umpire look at the ball and it's covered in chunky Jif peanut butter?
Are you giving a 7-month-old peanut butter?
Oh, not yet. No. I'm just saying that's the stickiest thing we've given her so far has been blueberries. It's very sticky. But this is not a podcast about my daughter, how cute as that podcast would be.
It would be the cutest podcast.
This is the recap episode, James. We recap stuff. Famously, last week, we both made predictions. And as of every week, we'll remind you our predictions. James said we'd be 6-1. I said we'd be 5-2. The first time you and I have differed.
Yes.
I did some data research, aka I listened to all of our podcasts again. And I found out you and I say the same things every week.
We usually agree.
Last week we did not. And at the end you'll find out who was right and who was wrong, James.
It was Joe.
Shall we jump into it, James?
Right. Yes.
Shall we jump into it? The pungent sound, the Pugeters, the fishers of the sea came into town, James, Petco Park. Welcome, Seattle Mariners, on Friday, May 21st. And you know what the San Diego Padres did?
We soundly beat them.
Soundly. Good job, Puget Sound. I like it. Good job. Yeah, 16-1. Get out of here.
It wasn't. Is there a better term than soundly? I mean, brutally?
Yeah. It's
handedly?
It wasn't a good showing. As James put in the notes here, the Mariners scored one run at the top of the first. It was cute.
It was very cute. It was a very cute run.
The Padres won 16-1 on 17 hits. There were 16 runs, James. 1 run on 4 hits. No errors for either. Yeah, it was a massacre, James. It was,
and so our lovely mother is from the Pacific Northwest, so we have lots of family up there. So we're not going to try to gloat too hard, but we smacked you guys around pretty hard this week.
Maybe you guys all of you shouldn't have gotten the COVID. We got the COVID, and guess what? We won 6-0. So our COVID's better than their COVID. There, I said it.
The views and opinions expressed by the host are not at all the same as mine. That's all I'm saying.
The Mariners were hurt. We were hurt. But we're better when we're hurt than when they are hurt. Is that better for you?
No, the difference is our COVID guys we could replace.
Yeah.
Their COVID guys happened to be their pitching staff, and so they brought all their AA guys to the field, and we hit them like it was batting practice.
Yeah, so they did lose a lot of bullpen guys, and that did lose them the game. They lost them a lot this week.
It did, yes.
Grisham leadoff homer. Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, hits a 3-run bomb. Crone had a 5 RBI game. a 3-run homer. There was lots of offense.
Lots of offense.
These kind of games are hard to recap because I don't know how to like. Everyone hit.
Yeah, it's hard to like. Oh, in the ninth inning, there was a great sacrifice bunt. No, I mean it's just.
The Padres scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first, and that would have been sufficient.
Yeah, exactly.
We had 3 4-run innings. The third 3-run inning, then the first. It just wasn't the Mariners' day. Paddock had a nice game.
I did have a nice game.
6-inning pitch.
We've both said we want to see him throw at least 2 really good games in a row to like be back on the Paddock train, and this was the first game.
Yep. I mean, did a good job. 6-inning pitch. He went deeper than normal. Yeah, I think it was great. Yeah, it was a fun game. We'll got a lot of runs. Increase our run differential, James. Anything else you want to add to this laugher of a game, James?
No, I think anything else to be said would just be rubbing it in.
Yeah, this is the start of the fam renaissance.
That's true. The Famissance.
3 at-bats, 2 walks. Oh, sorry. 3 at-bats, but that's deceptive because he has 2 walks and 2 hits because of the bats. This is a very common theme you'll find out in this week. Fam got on base a lot.
Fam got on base. It's the Famissance.
So yeah, good at Fam. And then shall I move on to game 2, Mr. James?
We're waiting to hear your pun.
San Diego Padres welcome Seattle Mariners into town. I am not your monkey. I will not dance.
Just go on. I know you wrote it down. What did you write?
Nope.
What did you write?
Nope. San Diego Padres beat the Seattle Mariners 6-4 on 8 hits, 1 error, and the Mariners have 4 runs, 9 hits on 3 errors.
He's very mad at me. I can tell by his face.
Once again, the Famissance continues. Mr. Tommy Pham, of note, had 4 walks in this game. The dude loves to walk. He is... who's the famous walker? There's no one the famous walker.
The famous walker is a Texas Ranger.
Yeah. This joke already died before. I should workshop some of these jokes. So that makes sense. Whatever. We beat them. Tommy Pham had great 4 walks. Weather's kind of scuffled a little bit. Yeah, wasn't like, and this is weird about Weathers, right? When he scuffles, it isn't like a normal pitcher where it gives us 4 runs. Like when Paddock scuffles, we lose the game.
Yes. Yes, exactly. No, again, Weathers is 21 years old, but he pitches like he's been in the league for 12 years.
Yes.
And he'll struggle. He can't find a strike zone with his fastball. He'll do it with his breaking pitch. And so, yeah, he scuffled. His biggest problem is he'll throw too many pitches. He doesn't, when he scuffs, he doesn't have an out pitch. But I think he does get better when there's more, when there's bases loaded. He does dig deep and find the strike zone again. He just needs to find that consistently throughout the game.
Yeah, it seems like he's not fazed by runners on base. Yeah, and it's odd because he's still not very efficient, and that's a big part. When I say scuffle, that's the big thing. He just throws a lot of pitches early, and he gets out early, right? It's a bummer because you want to see him go farther and farther and farther. Mm-hmm. And this game kind of happened. Same thing happened before. Whether it's just 4 innings and Lamet come for 2, which. I'm sorry, for this game, 3 innings. And you just want to see Weathers go farther and farther, and he just doesn't. And it's going to be happening again in the later game this week. I just really wish that he would go farther, but I mean, the offense obviously picked him up.
What was the final score again?
6-4.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Pretty funny moment. Tatis is up for someone on second and third, and they're like, we'll intentionally walk Tatis to load the bases.
Much respect.
Right. That's obviously a sign of, at this point this week, Tatis is about to be the hottest player in baseball. Yes. So, and they get into Hosmer, but Hosmer, our loyal listeners know this, but just a reminder, is doing very, very good with 2 outs, runners in scoring position.
They're unreal numbers. He's hitting above 400,
Yes.
almost 500 with 2 outs, runners in scoring position.
This is insane.
Yeah, it's Tony Gwynn level of efficiency at the bat. At the
So
plate.
Hosmer does not phased by that. He clears the bases with a single. Because a single happens, 2 runners come in, Fernando's at first, of course, goes to third, and the errant throw goes behind the catcher, and because Fernando Tatis Jr. is a freak, scores.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Fam, another good day. Defense, 4 walks. Yeah, I mean, this felt like this felt like the least sloppy of the Mariners games.
Yes, it felt like we were actually playing a major league team.
Yes. But it also was cool to see the Padres kind of rally around. At this point, this game will finish our 8-game. At this point, 8-game will become our 9-game winning streak. At this point, during the 8-game winning streak, games missed: Myers 8, Tatis 5, Hosmer 5, Profar 3, Machado 2, and Grisham 1. And that, at this point, still the best record in baseball, and we missed all those guys.
Yes, because we have depth and the best pitching staff in baseball.
Yes. So, yeah. Any other thoughts about this game, James?
I mean, it was a good game. Melanson got the save. It's always fun to see him get a save. I liked it because the Padres find every way to win. We're not just a one-trick pony to win. This was a Padre victory in the sense that we're aggressive in the base pads. We're making contact. We're not relying solely on the home run in this one. The Padres can beat you offensively with every tool there is to beat you. And we saw that.
Yeah. Couldn't say any better, James. Shall I move on to game 3?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. I don't know why that could make so funny to me. So polite.
Please,
I
sir.
appreciate it. The San Diego Padres welcome the Maritime Menaces to Petco Park, James, and they say, nay, you will not give your bad vibes from the PNW here. We beat them 9-2 on 8 hits and no errors, and the Seattle Mariners had 9 hits and 1 error. So they had a chance, but they just didn't capitalize. I took my lovely wife to this game. We had a great time. I've never seen a Grand Slam in person, and I saw a Grand Slam in person.
Really?
Yeah, I don't ever seen it.
Oh.
No, that's a lie. One of my friends, a good friend, took me to a Royals Padre game. He's like, I have his free tickets. And I'm like, great. And I'm like, it's the Royals. The Padres will surely win, right? We're not as bad as the Royals in 2017. Yes, we were worse. Because the first inning, I saw Whit Merrifield at a Grand Slam. Never mind. I have seen not a Padre at a Grand Slam.
Okay. I'm just thinking. I've seen Tony Gwynn hit a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I've seen Greg Vaughn hit a Grand Slam. I saw Phil Nevin hit a Grand Slam.
Well, you're a lucky guy.
Wow.
We're all beating around the bush.
The real thing is, like, I think we also lost all those games.
Yeah, sadly. This game we talked about on our last episode. We just the rise of Tatis, James Tatis, super hot,
Super hot.
200 career hit was a 441 foot homer above my head. I could not leap that high. It was very tough.
It was a laser shot to the upper deck.
I was like, oh, here comes the ball. Nope, it's above me. It's above me. Yeah, this kid is incredible. We talked about it last episode, but, it's RBI double, homer, grand slam. Just seemed like that game. There was no better baseball player in the world at that moment than Fernando Tatis Jr.
There wasn't. The stats showed that.
200 career hits was that homer, first homer, and it was awesome.
He hit that home run in the second inning?
The first home run he hit was second inning, yeah, and the grand slam was in the seventh, yeah.
Yeah, between the two of them, the grand slam they were both no doubters.
Yes,
but the grand slam, I think, was even a bigger no doubter. It was dead center field, and the second he made connection with the bat, the entire crowd went just nuts. I called you, and what's the crowd like? It's the loudest I've ever heard. 15,000 people. It was nuts.
I have been to sellout crowds at Petco that weren't as loud as that. It went bananas, and it was funny at the ballpark. I texted you this. So I texted you, like, why'd they walk Cronenworth? So what happened, the sequence of the game was there's runners on first and third with one out. And then Cronenworth has 1-0 up. And then what we thought was he was swinging at a ball. And it was called a ball 2. And then and then the PA says, the graphics say walk. Like they intentionally walked Cronenworth. And everyone around me is like, wait, they intentionally walked the bases loaded to get a Tatis? Who is this guy?
Yeah, no.
Scott Service has to be fired, the manager of the Mariners, today.
Exactly.
Thankfully, you texted me that it was catcher's interference. So
this is something that's happened quite a few times to the Padres. And and that's what I'm saying. The Padres use all of their tools. We're leading majors in stolen bases.
Yep.
The two Padres I believe it was Pham and Profar were on base already. We're dancing around like they were going to do a double steal.
Yeah.
And the catcher stuck his glove out to grab it quicker to get a better pop time to throw the ball get the runners out. And his glove got interfered with. Honestly, Cronenworth, you look at the replay, I thought he must have broken the guy's wrist. He hit his hand so hard, but he didn't. That Mariner catcher is clearly tougher than I am. But he interference, bases loaded, Tatis, second pitch he sees, no doubt, and all the Mariners cried.
When he first hit, I was like, it's a fly ball. Then I saw Kyle Lewis not move, just turn around.
Yeah.
He's like, how far is this going to go? It was bananas. There's so much to say about Tatis, and we'll continue to talk about him, but just this game was pretty awesome. Any other thoughts about the game, James?
9 in a row. First time we've swept a homestand since 2009. It was, again, this is what we want the Padres to be all year long. It's what
right.
They proved themselves they can be the best team in baseball. We played number 1 Cardinals, the middle of the road Mariners, the last place Rockies, and we beat all of them. And so we beat them all with all of our tools. Mm-hmm. It was a phenomenal homestand. I think it was the shot the Padre fans needed because, everyone was so worried. COVID, all of our guys are sick. We're never going to win it. Padre fans are very Debbie Downers sometimes.
Yeah.
Like anything goes wrong, well, that's the season. I guess we're not going to win again for 3 years.
God tank.
Exactly.
Gotta get the first round pick.
Exactly. Trade everybody. No reason to stay. We cannot win. Take everybody away. We can't have them anymore. So yeah, I think it was to show the fans. No, and AJ Preller, take a walk, man.
Right.
Like all the people you signed, you did a great job, and that's all that I want. The homestand was a true thing. Hey, look, we're gonna have ups and downs, but we're a better team than anybody else in the majors. As that at the end of that game, we were the best team in the National League West, and I believe And that's when we took the lead in the West and all of baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was fun to see dominance of that level. And I think a general impression of these 3 games is the general impression I've had probably all season, which is that our starting pitching is very, very good. I didn't talk about it with Game 3, but 7 innings pitch start for Darvish, 1 earned run. We're just like, oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. That's just Darvish.
And you cannot. I hate that I'm taking that for granted, because that's that's insanity. Like, you should not expect a pitcher to give you 7 innings pitch and 1 run. That's very special.
Exactly.
Very, very, very special. James, should I move on to Milwaukee?
Yeah, we had to fly to Wisconsin.
We flew up north, land of cheese and milk, and what else is Milwaukee famous for? Beer.
I mean, if I had to make a list of every city I would not want to visit in the United States, I'm pretty sure Milwaukee would be on that list.
What life situation we have to be on to make that list? Like, okay, you put gun to your head. 10 cities you don't want to visit.
Can they be cities I've already been to and never want to go back to?
Yeah,
because that's definitely El Paso.
Yeah. Strangely, a lot of them are American Southwest cities. Regardless,
they're all cold. Why do people live where it's cold? I don't understand it. Like, hey, let's go somewhere where we're miserable 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just bitter because I know the score of the next game.
The Milwaukee Brewers welcome the San Diego Padres to, is it now American Life Field? Man, you're called the Brewers and you couldn't get a beer company to sponsor your stupid stadium. He used to call it Miller Stadium, which made a lot of sense. Brewers, Miller, whatever. American Life Field, they beat us.
They beat us, yeah.
5-3, Brandon Woodruff. Dude, he's a monster. I would say that. Brandon Woodruff, just like the last time we saw him, we had no idea how to handle anything he was doing. The first inning, we had our only kind of shot. But then he just gets... We talked about this both times we've seen him. He gets better...
He gets better as the day goes on. The longer he's out there, the more dominant he is. If I had to make a list of 3 best pitchers in the National League right now, it would be Woodruff, Darvish, and DeGrom.
Yeah.
And those are the 3 best pitchers in baseball. And Woodruff is just so unbelievably good. And that's the only reason why the Brewers are sort of in it, because they have such good starting pitching. And he was just dominant. I mean, I believe we texted several times. He's taking us apart.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Woodruff is he's one of those, like, I texted you this other day. Like, he doesn't have a villainous face. He's very unassuming. I feel like he's not threatening, but somehow it makes him more threatening. It's like, oh, it's just a guy. It's a guy I meet at a brewery. Oh, he's just destroying people.
Yeah, he does. He does sort of look like the guy like a mechanic, a guy you would trust, you know.
And he just dominates. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts. He's super. Batters don't ever look comfortable up there. They don't look like they ever understand what's happening. They're just kind of always. He's one of those guys that could probably tell you what pitch he's going to throw, and you just like, I hope I can hit that one. I hope I know where that one lands, because the dude was good.
All I got to say is the series, if the Brewers ownership doesn't get on the ball and start building a better team around this pitching staff, it's going to be the biggest travesty I've ever, because their pitching staff their starting pitching is legit as good as anybody else's starting pitching staff in baseball.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and it doesn't help that Snell had probably his worst outing.
Yeah, Snell's hung 2 fastballs, and that's the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Got home runs allowed to Pena and Garcia. Avisel Garcia and Manny Pena both hit bombs off him. Both left righty hitters, and Snell left fastballs over the plate. And Yeah. Snell did not look especially good. 3.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts, 2 homers allowed. But then Johnson, Diaz, and Adams comes in and allows no runs. I still don't think we win, even if I think that for us to win, we need to get to Woodruff, because you're going to see a trend in this series is that their bookend of their pitching staff is incredible. They have great starting pitching, and then they get to Hader. And the issue is from starting pitching to Josh Hader. That's the gap that kills them. Every so often, a starter has a bad one. Tomorrow, the next game in this series, a good starter has a bad game. But for most time, those starters are dominant, and the innings 5 to 7 to 8 ruins the Brewers.
Their bullpen is atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
I mean, the highlight of this game to me. Our losses have a lot of good things in this series. So we lose this game, but we get 3 runs in the 9th. Eric Hosmer has a double off Josh Hader. Telling fans a big 2-run homer. It means we're not quitting.
No,
we're the best team in baseball at this point, and we still are. We're not quitting.
No, we're not.
We're still stealing bases. We're still hitting bombs. We're not quitting. It's just I don't know what to say. Woodruff is so gosh darn good. Woodruff is, and he was good. I mean, I think about the wild card game, the division series last year against the Brewers and Dodgers series. Woodruff is just out there battling for his life, and his offense we're not gonna hit today.
Yeah,
dude,
he
bananas.
Okay, the Brewers are gonna if they can't get a winning team around him, some team like the Yankees and the Angels are gonna give him a $300 million contract, and it's just gonna suck.
Yeah.
Not the Angels, because they don't know how to win.
They don't know how to sign pitchers.
They don't know how to sign pitchers.
It's not in their source code. Shall I move on to the next game?
Yes, please.
I don't know why it's funny. It's funny every time.
I'm just going to keep going with it. I mean...
The San Diego Padres are welcomed in by the Milwaukee Brewers. American Life Field, as aforementioned. And we say, we win this one. 7-1 on 5 hits and 1 error, and they had 2 hits on 1 error, James. And this game was a lot more fun than the game before it. I will say that much.
Well, yeah, we won.
Yes.
We beat Favio and his hair.
Corbin Burns had a stinky day. Corbin Burns had an uncharacteristic day where he walked more people in this outing than he has all season combined.
So Corbin Burns broke a Major League record this year. How many?
58 strikeouts before he had a walk.
Yes. Something like over 300 people. So it was like 110 people faced. It was something ridiculous before he had a walk. It's an amazing streak that he not only broke, he crushed.
Yeah.
He does not walk people. He walked us.
Still had 7 strikeouts, but 4 earned runs, James. This was a fun one because we start seeing a little bit. Padres have led the league in stolen bases, but in this game we really, really we do lead the league in stolen bases.
Yes, exactly. And the Brewers catcher is terrible.
Yeah, not great. Does not have great. They're called pop time. I believe the term is not great pop time. Yeah, do you want to tell them about the best steal of the game, James?
The which one?
The best steal of the game.
Oh, you mean when our speed demon,
known speed demon, fastest guy on our team, Victor Carantini stole home? You talking about that one? That one. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Our backup catcher.
Well,
Well,
soon to be our primary.
Anyways,
Soon to be our primary catcher.
soon to be primary catcher. Our backup catcher, we got him when we acquired Darvish. Mm-hmm. Stole home, and it was a double steal. It was Cronenworth, right?
Hassan Kim,
Oh, that's right. Hassan Kim was going for second.
who's very handsome.
Hassan Kim was going to second. Their not so good catcher picks up the ball and throws kind of a wild throw to the second baseman. The second he let go of the ball, Carantini was on third, started running home, and because the catcher threw such a bad pitch to throw to the second baseman was falling over, and he chucked the ball back over to the catcher, missed the catcher, Carantini scored. Everyone cheered. Well, not there because we were at their stadium, but everyone in San Diego cheered.
Right. Jace Tingler said before the game, we need to find a way to beat good pitchers. It's just, if we're a championship team, you cannot not beat good pitchers. That's how it goes. If you're the best, you got to beat the best. The Padres stole 5 bases and scored runs on a steal of home, a sacrifice fly, an infield ground out, and a wild pitch. That is pretty good. Those are the 4 runs against Burns.
Yes.
So Corbin Burns didn't allow a home run and allow a double, for an RBI. We really did force runs across a good pitcher. It was awesome.
One thing though about Corbin Burns, I have never seen a grown man love his hair so much as Corbin Burns does.
He gets in his face all the time.
That guy there's been players along, but he was always combing his hair with his hands.
He had very nice hair.
It was kind of ridiculous.
They have a lot of big hair guys.
Between every pitch, he was combing his hair.
They have Josh Hader.
It's true. No, there's a lot of guys with hair on their team. It's a hairy team, no doubt. But watch the highlight. He's always messing with his hair. It was making me mad. I'm glad we beat him. Shave it off and think about your life choices.
Yeah, great game. Don't, as you said during the game, MVP of the game are the Padres' legs.
The Padres' legs, absolutely.
Shall we move on to game 6, James? 6, I can't speak. Game 6,
That's a shame.
James.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, one day I'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Okay.
We'll do it live.
Game 6, James. Shall we get into it?
Yes, please.
The San Diego Padres are welcomed into American Life Field by the Milwaukee Brewers. Old friend Eric Lauer is on the bump
Former San Diego Padres #1 draft pick.
versus his locker mate, Chris Paddock, former locker mate. I guess they were throwing buddies in the offseason too. We now have had 2 face-offs between throwing buddies in the season. Clayton Kershaw, Darvish, and now Paddock and Lauer. But all that fun stuff aside, the Padres won 2-1. 2 runs on 6 hits on no errors, and the Brewers had 1 run and 5 hits on no errors. James, I'll be honest, kind of a boring game. But I say it's boring because it was 1-1 until the 10th inning, and then it ended with how those games end, which the guy on second, and then they get the guy over, and then he scores, and then the other guy stops the other guy. It's just anticlimactic.
It really is.
It feels like I would rather Yelich hit a home run at the end. I hate saying that. To me, it's like we've talked about it. It feels more earned.
Yeah. Again, it's all of a sudden we hit extra innings, and it feels like we're in Little League.
Yeah.
Like, let's do everything we can to win, everybody. The only thing I will say about this game is Paddock, we got his 2 great games in a row. Paddock was super dominant. Also, if you would have asked Joey and I a week prior to this, what would have been the best pitchers duel you would have seen against the Brewers? Nobody in their right mind would have said Paddock and Lauer.
Yeah,
it would not have crossed our mind. The next game would have been a higher chance of a pitcher's duel than this game because Lauer and Paddock are both very streaky pitchers. They can turn it on, and they both turned it on that day, and they did fantastic jobs. It was just, I hate those type of games when your pitcher gives you all he's got, and it's clearly the best he's given you all season, and you can't give him a win in his record. It's just, but again, the Brewers, pitch for pitch, us this game, and and again, what got them down was their pitching staff in the 10th inning just fell apart because they used Hader, pitched 2 innings, and then they couldn't pitch him in the 10th, and then they got this guy who,
Brent Suter.
yeah, and he gave us the victory.
It was an interesting one. So I say it was boring because I don't like extra inning rules. I think it's kind of, especially for pitcher duels, it's kind of like, it just seems very arbitrary. But Jay Singler called it the best defensive game of the season. Cronenworth basically stopped the game from being tied in the 10th. The situation is 1st and 3rd, no outs. Mark Melancer's in, kind of not have the sharpest stuff. They're hitting everything he's throwing. 2 people, but you know. And I think it was Jackie Bradley Jr. I can't remember who.
I think it was Jackie Bradley Jr.
It's a sharp liner to Cronenworth. Jake Cronenworth dives. And Keston Hira had like a very bad jump, but still decides to run home, who was on 3rd at the time. And so Jake Cronenworth dives, stops the ball, goes in the outfield, and throws out Keston Hira at the plate. Perfect throw, great execution. All-around good play for Cronenworth. Earlier in the game, he did a leaping grab to stop a run. Pham leaped at the wall to catch a foul ball. For now, Profar diving catch in the center field to stop run the bottom of the 9th. That probably would have won the game.
Kim had that great play, grabbing the foul ball on the third base side. Yeah, it was a great defensive game.
It was a good defensive game. It just felt like it just felt weird because you wanted to see Paddock get the win, and this is the kind of game you want to see a walk off with. Not just a whatever walk-off. But it also was funny because Eric Lauer hit a home run off Chris Paddock. It was just,
only bad pitch Paddock did was he threw, and it wasn't even that bad of a pitch.
No.
Again, Lauer, probably knowing Paddock, just swung and hit a ball. The first home run in Lauer's career was off his friend, which I think is not very friendly.
Not very friendly at all.
Not very friendly at all. The reason why we traded you, Lauer, you're not a good guy. That's not a good thing to do. Anyway, so it was, but again, Paddock was awesome. Our defense was awesome. If we could have just scraped one run to this first 9 innings, we would have avoided the extra innings just nonsense. Because I hate extra innings nonsense, and that will come to fruition soon.
On note, Austin Adams continues to be a mystery. He's either the most dominant relief pitcher in baseball or he's high anxiety. I call him Austin Anxiety Adams. Allowed a single, a walk.
He just now called him that. He's never called him that before.
It's on the notes.
It's on the notes.
It says right here, Austin quotation marks Anxiety Adams. This has been in the universe for at least 48 hours.
Oh, so you rewrote the notes since yesterday. I get it. We shared notes during this season. Oh, each week, yeah.
This is the bottom of the 9th. Allowed a single, a walk, no outs. Gets 2 crazy strikeouts, of course. And then he gets a fly out. You're just like, buddy, reverse that order, dude. I know his stuff is nasty. It's just every time I see him up, I'm like, oh man, please be the great Austin Adams. But he got us out. Mark Melanson gets another save. Mark Melanson's like, yes, I will be invited to the All-Star game. Please, thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Early voting, that's fine.
And yeah, we won the game. That's good. Shall I move on to today's game, Game 7?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Well, that's too bad. It's part of the program. I wrote the notes down. I printed out the box score. The Padres are welcomed into American Life Field, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers beat us in extra innings 6-5 on 6 runs and 9 hits and 2 errors, and the Padres have 5 runs on 8 hits, also 2 errors, James. Game started by Adrian the Puker Hauser and Ryan Weathers. Ryan Weathers, famously, his dad pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers for a time.
And was in the stadium. watching his son
Yep.
pitch. It was cool.
Yeah. Mitchell, thoughts about this game, James?
Weathers did fantastically. It was a frustrating game to watch because it was the first time all year the bullpen let us down.
Yeah, so this is the order of pitchers. Ryan Weathers, 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. And why 4 innings pitched? They wanted to go longer, but he had a high pitch count, so got knocked out early at 7-8 pitches.
But the top of the fourth, there was a man on second, and so the pitcher spot was coming up. So like, let's get a pinch hitter to see if we can score that run.
It's the right move.
It's the right move. Because
later that move worked out perfectly.
Yes. It was the wrong hitter.
We'll get to. I have a discussion about that. I want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
So remind me. So Weathers to Chrismat. Chrismat comes in 1.2 innings pitch. Also throws a lot of pitches, 37 pitches. You want them to go long. He's not going long. Chrismat's supposed to be the long guy. Allows 1 run. Pierce Johnson comes in, faces 1 batter, never comes out again. Why isn't he pitching longer? He was just a pitch to 1 guy. Anyway,
but again, it was a pitch. It was a pinch hitter situation.
Craig Salmon comes in for 1 inning and had the worst outing all year. Hung a breaking ball to the Padre killer, Willie Adames. Willie Adames literally won them the game today.
He did.
He had 4 hits, a 3-run homer, has a perfect relay to nab Hosmer at the plate and deny us the lead. But Salmon can't hang breaking balls in the middle of the zone. So what are you going to do?
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't blame Willie Adames. Just eyes wide open, ooh, I like this pitch, and destroying a baseball. Emilio Pagan comes in, and Miguel Diaz gives us basically not mop-up duty, but it's your ball game duty.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's very obvious at this point in the series, Melance's not available, Hill's not available. Pagan was actually available, which is surprising to me, but Adams not available. This is we used all 3 of our long guys in this game, and didn't win us the game because they're not actually their best relief pitchers. This is the lower half of our bullpen, I would say. It did feel a little bit like we're not going to waste our guys. A little bit of load management. And, yeah. I think that if we really wanted to win, we wouldn't have seen Miguel Diaz.
Yeah, but the thing is, our offense, that's the problem with today's game, because our offense did battle back.
Yeah, so, we were down. Milwaukee struck first, top of the 6th inning. Tatis gets an RBI double. Hosmer gets a big 2-run homer. So it's 3-2. The next inning, next bottom inning, that's when Craig Stammen gets a 3-run homer. And then the 8th, against Devin Williams, who's an incredible relief pitcher, we really do make him work and struggle. And we get 2 runs off him, thanks part because of just the struggling he mentioned, and then also because of a Manny Machado pinch hit
RBI double,
which would have been 2 RBIs would have been only 1 RBI, but could have been 2. Eric Hosmer, as I said, was thrown at the plate, a perfect relay. Eric Hosmer is not the fastest, but as we mentioned before, we're very aggressive on the base paths, and it really was a perfect throw.
Yeah, it was exactly what you.
He wasn't thrown out by a mile.
It's what they do. What they train people how to do this relay,
and they really did get him. However, this is the question I asked for you. So the Rangers come back. Not the Rangers. I don't know why I'm saying the Rangers. The Brewers come back in the 10th. Miguel Diaz, because we weren't able to score in our part of the 10th. So then, in this kind of scenario, the home team has an enormous advantage, obviously, in these new rules. So they do win. They get a typical they get the guy over to third base, but Jackie Bradley Jr. gets a single because the infield's in, or whatever. It's exactly how the game's supposed to end in these new rules. The question I asked for you is, Jace Tingler did this 3 times. He pitched it for the pitcher 3 times. Once for Jorge Mateo, second for Will Myers, and third for Manny Machado. Mateo had a guy on second, 2 outs. Myers was just up with no outs, right? And then Manny Machado had the guy on first and second with 2 outs. Do you think that you should get the lead earlier or later in a game?
I say score early, score often. I think having Jorge Mateo pinch hit to get Weathers out, who pitched very well today. He probably could have gone another inning. He'd thrown at that point 78 pitches. He could have gone to 90. That's
They could have got a relief pitcher in.
Yeah, exactly. I think at that point, if you have Will Myers and Manny Machado on your bench, why do you bring out Jorge Mateo?
I feel.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Myers
Got a hit today.
got a hit today, and is doing his pinch hit.
Yeah.
And he replaced Jorge Mateo for the rest of the game in right field.
Right.
I don't understand. I get it. We want to give Jorge Mateo as many at bats as we can. He is a part of our team. But when you have 2 past all-star hitters,
Right.
because Myers and Manny Machado have both been to all-star games, and they're both some of our better hitters on the bench, why do you have Jorge Mateo pinch hit at all?
It's interesting because I think that you should mix. I think in that situation specifically, Kim was on second base, 2 outs. And you think about depth. Myers and Mateo can both play right field.
And O'Grady just wasn't doing it today.
No. O'Grady's struggling mightily. Probably needs a little bit more training development in general. I think this is how I think. I agree with you, but I think this is how Tingler thinks. I think Tingler thinks you always want the best bat later in the game. And I think you need to sandwich it. I think you should put Myers in at that moment instead of Mateo. And Mateo's much more like, imagine if Mateo was at second in the 10th, or, in any sort of situation. Like, what if Mateo pitch ran for Hosmer, and then you figure out another double switch situation there. Like, to me, the threat of Mateo is better in the base path than as a hitter, because he's not a good hitter. He's not Mateo. He's not Myers or Machado. Machado, third pinch hitter, hits a double. Like, typical Machado, balls out over the plate, and he just goes with the ball, hits a gapper to right center field.
And Myers, when his pinch hit was to the 5.5
But there's no one on
ball.
base at that point.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, it just.
But that's the thing, is that why? That's what's kind of befuddling to me. There's no one on base for Myers, but there's someone on scoring position for Mateo. So you're just like, he's the guy. Maybe just like there's more ball game left, and we'll just get him out. I just wonder how much the vibe changes if we get the lead earlier and stronger. Like, momentum matters, I think, in baseball.
I think if we would have gotten the score earlier, I think that it would have changed the vibe if we would have led earlier, and also it would have justified taking Ryan Weathers out. He didn't allow. I mean, yeah, his pitch count was high because he still needs to get to work on his out pitches, but he was getting them out. He hadn't allowed a run.
Yep.
His ERA went down like 4 points again today. It was insane. He was doing very well, and he was clearly frustrated when it took him out. If they would have scored, it would have justified taking him out. And I think this is, if the Padres have one chink in the armor, that is, we do not have a good hitter off the bench. Myers and Hosmer are both a little beat up. That's why they're on a bench. Normally, they're not going to be on the bench. We do not have a good hitter on the bench. Maybe if Kim starts hitting better, he'll be our pinch hitter type guy. But
Kim, I think currently is the best.
Yes, he's this. We haven't said this, but he's increased his batting average. He's gotten a hit every game in Milwaukee against some of the best pitchers in baseball. He's gotten hits off.
We'll see him more because we're going to AL Stadium this weekend, the DH.
So we're gonna have he's gonna still be in defense. We're gonna have. It's probably gonna be Machado to rest his shoulder a little bit more. State people in DH, which is gonna be fantastic. We need a hitter off the bench. We need some sort of thing. I always bring 98 up because it's the team I remember that I know most about. We had Mark Sweeney on the bench. We had John Vanderwall. We had two hitters, and I hate to say this, but one of the things that Dodgers have is good players they just got signed Albert Pujols.
Yeah,
strictly to come off the bench and hit a hit.
Hey, sometimes he strikes out to end the game.
True.
Well, and also ground and double plays a lot. Not the greatest example, but I know what you mean.
But we do not have a threat we don't have somebody because throughout this year, the two guys that have been our biggest pinch hitters have been Mateo and Kim.
Yeah, there's also something we haven't talked about with this series. There's a big difference. So Nola's now in the IL, right? They say a couple weeks. Nola didn't play. He played game one. That was it.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. Not having Nola. Like, if you have Nola on the bench, Mateo doesn't come into the game. Right?
It would have been I don't know. Nobody likes to burn a catcher early. You always want to keep your catchers.
But wouldn't you do Myers?
You would have done
Myers, Machado, Nola?
Probably, yeah.
So, and we're also out Grisham. Those two guys are significant. Those change the character of two spots in the lineup consistently. Also, Manny did not have consistent at-bats. Now, it didn't really matter the last game because Manny came through when it needed to. But we didn't have Grisham. Profar didn't perform like... Profar had a fine series, but not like Grisham can have. Grisham's an all-star center fielder, right? So... This series is way different if we have everyone healthy. Obviously, it's a story of baseball right now. No team has everyone healthy. So everyone's dealing with the same problem. However, I do think that if those guys are back in some high important playoff kind of scenario, our bench is way better. Right now, you're absolutely right. Like, who's the threatening bench bat? Not really anyone, right? Because we just don't have that. But if you had everyone there, we would have it. Like, but right now, it's like O'Grady will come in time to time. O'Grady's going to be around for a little bit, but Nola's going to be gone. So now we have to find another catcher. So our depth is definitely being stretched, and our bullpen's tired.
Our bullpen is tired.
So,
we knew it was going to,
yeah.
And that's why they go into the 6-man rotation. Everything was it's because we're in the middle of a 20-game stretch with no off days. And it's just going to get crazier. We're heading into Houston, and then we're going to Houston, Chicago, and then we're back to San Diego playing the Mets, and then we have an off day.
No, and then we play Chicago at home again.
But isn't there an off day on Monday?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's that following Thursday is an off day. Yeah, so it's going to be a tough stretch.
Okay, so we might as well transition now. Any other impressions about the Brewers series you want to talk about before we move on to next week?
I'm glad we don't have to play Milwaukee for the rest of the year.
Guys.
Screw Milwaukee has been the thorn in our side, and if we have to play them in the playoffs, so be it. But we don't.
There be a series.
They will not determine our standings in the Baseball State League for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Needlessly mean to us. Hear that, Milwaukee? Needlessly mean. Just because we have small breweries here. They're big brewery.
It's a microbrewery. Envy.
It's a macro versus micro brewery.
Yeah. Our artisanal breweries are better than yours. Everyone says so.
So, as is tradition around here, James, we predict next set of games. Last time we did 7 games. This time we're going to Milwaukee. Sorry, we were going to Milwaukee. We're going to Houston for 3 games and then Chicago for 3 games. I say we do that, and then we'll do the homestand next one. So it'll be 6 games we're predicting.
Okay.
I will tell you the predicted pitchers for the Houston Astros. Chicago has no idea what they're doing. So I'll just go with the pitchers we know about. On Friday, tomorrow, the Houston Astros will bring out for the first time Framber Valdez. He hasn't pitched since the postseason last year. It'll be his first start of the year. He pitched very well last year, but it's also his first start. He never faced us before, so who knows? We'll be bringing out Nelson Lamet, who's never pitched beyond 3 innings
This season.
Yeah, okay. So Saturday, Jake Odorizzi, who owns a nice 10.79 ERA, will face presumably said Yu Darvish. And then on Sunday, Blake Snell will face the funniest man in baseball, Zach Greinke. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll travel to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, in which we'll beat the Cubs soundly. I don't want to spoil anything, but we'll go to the Cubs for 3 games, and they haven't predicted or announced their rotation for that. Presumably the same with us, which is Musgrove for game 1, Paddock for game 2, and then
Weathers
for game 3. Yeah.
If I had to predict that,
You have to predict 6 games.
6 games.
Last week, you got it wrong.
I
got it
predicted
right.
6 and
The
1s.
first time we disagreed. I think at this point, yeah, I think we should make a game of it. I'm still deciding the rules, but I think we're going to make a game of it. So.
And at the end of the year, one of us gets a gold chain with a big spinny.
We mentioned the swag chain. We mentioned last time.
We had a whole previous episode. We talked about it for like 10 minutes.
As also we've learned this week, I don't actually listen to our episodes.
I know, somebody needs to listen to our episodes. Anyways, so I think the only pitcher I'm worried about for the Astros is Greinke. Then again, the Padres haven't lost a game to a Texas team in over a year. Mm-hmm. We swept them last year. We swept so far the Rangers this year. I just think the Padres like playing in Texas. I think we lose 1 to Texas. I think it's going to be if anybody, it'll be to Greinke, just because he can be
crafty.
And problem with the friendly confines.
And I did not add this caveat. 2 of the games are in the middle of the day. And sometimes it gets very hot in Illinois. And when that happens, it's also known as the Windy City. Are you familiar with this term?
Yes.
Hot and windy equals balls go woo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. That's the problem. Before Coors Field came around, before Colorado was a thing, the stadium had the ballpark that had the craziest offensive numbers was Chicago.
Yeah,
and they still have games where all of a sudden there'll be 17 runs.
The wind is blowing out, and you're just like, I guess pop-ups are home runs.
Exactly. So it's always hard to predict one of their games. So I'm guessing we're going to be 4-2 this year.
4-2 of the next 6 games. I think we're going to lose the Greinke game because Blake Snell's pitching. Snell
has something to redeem. That's one thing if Snell comes out and just like, you know what, I'm going to redeem myself, I think we're going to sweep the Astros. But if Snell can't do that, no.
You're messing up my strategy now. Okay, we're in 5-1.
Okay.
So you said 4-2?
Yes.
Because you doubt the Padres.
I don't doubt the Padres.
As I said 5-2 last time.
You said 5-2. I told you doubt the Padres too. As I said 6-1. The thing is, the biggest question mark is Chicago.
This is my strategy, okay?
Astros might be number 1 in the division who cares?
I think the Athletics are now. Let me check. Quick standings check. Brought to you by Oakland is by a full game.
Oh, okay. So they're struggling.
I think that they have lots and lots of right-handers. The Houston Astros have Correa, Bregman, Altuve, all competent hitters, but we have lots of very good righty pitchers, and I think we're going to smoke them. I think that we're very competent ourselves. I think we take tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game is going to be the roughest one. If I make a prediction,
Because of Lamet.
we have to cover lots of innings. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some weird people called up. You made a prediction that Aaron Northcraft would be called up. Maybe we'll see Mackenzie Gore get called up. That won't happen. But it'd be cool. No. It'd be cool if it did. So I think that we still win. I think that our offense will just explode off Framber. It's his first game back. It's not our first game back, baby.
No.
Jake Odorizzi with that 10.79 ERA. Yeah.
Why is he even a starter?
They paid him $15 million a year. So, yeah, he's going to throw the ball every day.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball.
I think we're going to own him. I think that his issues will abound in Houston. And I think Greinke will lose because of Snell's leftiness. And I think that Chicago, Wrigley Field, is when the Padres find their power stroke. I think we go into Wrigley. It's a day game. It's beautiful. Everyone gets Chicago dogs, celery salt. They go out to get some deep dish pizza, and all of a sudden they're pumped, dude. They see the all green aesthetic and the ivy, and like, no. We're gonna hit it way beyond where the Ricketts don't own, which they own the neighborhood around.
I get it.
They hit very far. So the Ricketts are a family that own. So never mind. I'll explain it later. I think the Padres are going to mash in Chicago.
Oh, I do too. But the problem is
that we're going to destroy Zach Davies if we face him. We're going to destroy Kyle Hendricks if we face him. And I don't know any other starting pitcher they have, but I'm sure. Oh, Trevor Williams. We're definitely going to destroy that guy if we face him. I think we're going to just destroy them. There's no way around it. I said it.
Okay. All right.
I think it's going to be ridiculous how good we are against Central teams. It's already proven that we destroy the Cardinals, and they lead that division, right? And the Cardinals have beaten the Cubs a bunch of times already, right? Yeah, I think we're just going to dominate. I feel really good about this.
All right.
Yeah. So, 4-2, 5-1. Tune in next week for a recap episode to see who's right.
All right.
Any other words, parting thoughts, pithy statements, James?
Pithy. Pithy's a funny word.
Yeah, hard to say. Pithy. 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 Until next time, go Padres.
Go Padres.
There it is. Ho-ho, doctor! You can hang a star